We are live, Vocal Dialect. We are in the building. We have the lovely Queen Goddess Hope. We also have the sister Energy Peace. We have our brother Gerald Moore. He's gonna be in the building with us tonight. We got a Kinwato, our kid, a partner in crime. I am Knowledge Born 7. Peace, family. How y'all doing out there? I
Peace.
know it's been gruesome for some people, but hey, we're in the building. The topic tonight is the migrant crisis, where we stand as a people. Let's get it.
Peace, brothers and sisters. How y'all doing today?
Good, peace, Gerald.
Yeah. Well, the reason, let me explain why I chose this topic. Because as we're gazing into this corporation that we all reside in, we're starting to look at and we're starting to see the fact that we're having an influx of migrants, ones that's illegal and some that's legal, but most of the illegals. But the illegals are generally moving into our neighborhoods, and they're taking over our neighborhoods with violence, crime, and other things, which making the authorities, which is the police, making their jobs hard, as well as pushing us out of the community, because eventually it's going to be a conflict because they're moving them into the poor communities. We know those that's in the suburb community, they feel at this juncture that they're safe until they pass the bill about them having them occupy their homes also. Then we're gonna have a national conflict. So I figured that we should talk about these things and see where we're headed at as a people.
Okay.
I would like to say that I think they should be paying us for having their properties on our land. Because they're not from here and we get in charge with everything that they're doing. You know what I mean? So that's all I want to say on that.
Also, you can look at that, how they're affecting us economically. For those ones that's taxpayers. I'm not a taxpayer, which was, but I'm not. But those ones that's being taxed in for their residents, that's going to make the taxes rise. And you also see in the influx of that within the cities, you're starting to see where they're having these particular programs that's put forth for them and economically providing for them, not knowing where these immigrants are going. They can't track them. They don't know who they are. They're filling out documents, but these documents can't literally track them because they can come and don't have no ID. They're given financial assistance on, as well as being provided housing and other things. And you have our people that's poor, displaced, and yet alone they providing for them also. So why aren't we giving those programs? Why are they giving the programs? And they have to know everything about you if it comes to our people.
Yes, global and political conflict maneuvering, of course, here in the United States, but particularly from Texas. They've been busing large numbers of them, to the northern democratic cities, New York, Chicago. So and which they are busing them to cities that are already struggling. So it's like they're trying to take up the resources and it's more challenging because they're busing them to cities to where poor people are at who are struggling to make it, and by them doing that, it's just causing more chaos. And the tactic seems to be an attempt to shift the burden of managing the migrants and the influence from border states to these cities, which they call sanctuary policies, like New York, which has already, I think the total for them is like 200,000 migrants. So it's getting crazy. And in Chicago, the situation is even worse because now you have them robbing people. They doing all kind of stuff. So they also have a
Gang
few people
banger,
that's
huh?
been, yeah, gang bang. You also have a few of them who have been caught up as far as rape. It was something else I read too though. But it's as if the corporation of the United States is making it worse. And one of the I talk about it all the time. It's like one of my things that I always teach is one of the five forms of government is anarchy, and they have to keep up a level of anarchy because their thing is this, and a lot of people don't know this. They believe in ruling order out of chaos. That's their way, and our way is my God. You get what I'm saying? Love, peace. But then they in the media they make it seem like that we are the bad people. So it's crazy, but it's a lot going on with the migrant crisis.
It was an agenda that was already made up. And the sad part about it, we not doing anything about it, but laying back, doing nothing, talking about it. We don't put nothing into action. We don't have no plans for anything, and the shit is getting done right in our face. You had the migrants coming over here, getting all type of free resources. You know, um, Free shelter. You might as well say it's free, damn near free. You know, free income, free food stamps, free everything while we've been over here. It's a plan to me to eliminate us until we stand up and do something about it. It's going to always be like this. So that goes back to saying it's probably a cliche, or sound like a cliche. Together, united we stand, divided we fall. And so we so much divided as a people. This is why we falling. And you're seeing the results. Voting for a Democrat is not going to get you anywhere. Voting Republican is not going to get you anywhere. Until we stand up and learn how to unite. I said time and time again, the civil rights movement, in particular, the bus boycott, they showed us how to put it put anything into action. They showed us how to do it because it shut down their money, stop their money flow. We have more power than we think we have, and a lot of us just don't realize. That's my take on it. So until we stand up as a people, they go do any and everything for other nationalities, and races. You know what I mean? And we go keep on getting treated the way we've been treated. And guess what? We're not doing nothing about it, so we goddamn deserve this shit.
Can we do something about it? Like, honestly.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Stop. You know what I mean? No, we don't make any sacrifices. Stop giving our money to these people. We got to make a sacrifice. I just said they gave us a blueprint with the civil rights boycott in the '60s. Gave us a prime. Them people sacrifice. They literally sacrifice. We don't do that anymore. Probably don't even know how to do it.
No,
You look at the conditions and circumstances they was under.
Basically, we let me change it. Let me say one thing before we go on with this. Now, I don't have anything against the migrants, but my problem of it is that because they are going through persecution and other things in their countries also, and they're looking for a place of refuge. So I do understand that aspect of it, but to overrun the border and having the U.S. Customs and Border Security, Border Protection, not providing their duty to keep it from being overrun. And as they said, now Malik was just doing something on Facebook, and he was talking about the differences of governments and saying that the president is not making the decisions. And I agree with him. They not making the decisions. But the president passes the bill, and he doesn't pass the bill, but he has to sign the bill. So when they're saying that, it's the it's the House of Representatives and it's the other parties that's making the decision, it wasn't them that made the decision to open up the border completely. It was Biden's decision. Because now if Biden says that he put Kamala Harris in as the border czar to protect the country, and they open up the border completely, and they overrun the border, what are you saying? And then you're allowing them to come in, and you're not doing anything to protect the citizens that's already here, as you sending them into those neighborhoods. And you can see in Ohio, I think that's Ohio, where they had overrun apartment complex.
That was Colorado.
Colorado, I'm sorry, Colorado. Yeah. Now, when you think about it, now it's not going to be long before they take over. Before that, because you have all type of elements coming in. You don't know what's coming in. You just signing names and passing out pieces of paper.
But we discussed this before about how they opened up the jails, and we talked about this already. So if you emptying jails in Venezuela, what the F do you really think is going to happen? That's number one. Number two, to Knowledge's point about the sanctuary cities, a lot of sanctuary cities are meant, and if people don't understand the definition of a sanctuary city, is basically 5 key cities around the United States that will always take people who are seeking asylum. So right. Some of these cities are Chicago, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., New York City, and San Jose, and so 2 different cities in California. The key about this is, though, it's true that a lot of these places do have homeless populations, and we know that San Francisco is notorious for sweeping their homeless population away. I don't know where they moved them or where they displaced them to, but let's just talk about the real issue here in this country. Whether or not, if we're talking about migrants or whomever, they clearly got money to print, right? And if they got money to print, how come, like what we've been saying, how come we're not doing anything in our power to get a piece of the pie? Oh, I know what it's called. We want something that's literally just called reparations. We don't want to work for it. That's what it sounds like. There's really no way that it's like, if there's grants out here, if there's ways to make money, majority of us on this call are entrepreneurs. There are different ways that you can actually plug into this system and get your own reparations. When I was at InvestFest, Van Jones said one thing that was the most precious gem I've ever heard in my life. And I'm against AI, even though I'm a Martian, but he said the way we get our reparations is through AI, because it's such an untapped market. They are still evolving this technology. And as it evolves, there are still going to be thousands of loopholes and ways that we can get our reparations in their defense. There are ways that we can create programs, we can do proposals, we could have ChatGPT write us grant write up so that we can get the grants, distributed and deposited into our account. So the more I started doing the research about this migrant crisis, the more it made me feel like there's only room for one minority in the country, and they don't want us here. So we're going to be the ones to get pushed out. And if people don't realize that and are still sleeping on this shit, they're fucking stupid. And there's no other way you can slice it. Because if you don't realize that, I give it 5 years, the language of the United States will be Spanish. Mm-hmm. It will not be English. Right. So you have to take advantage of this right now. This is not a game. The reason why I wake up and trade, the reason why I am literally hoarse, because I don't sleep. I'm trading all the time. I'm really trying to get to the next level for my family. I'm trying to retire my parents so they don't have to work till 75. This is not a game out here. A lot of people will not have internet. A lot of people will not have clothes. A lot of people will only have a backpack. People will live in their cars, and then they're getting repossessed left and right. I went to go book a Toro for a road trip that I took yesterday, and the guy canceled the order. He said the car was repossessed. So it's just so many different things that are happening on such a major level. And because these sanctuary cities are literally there for asylum seekers, but not the world's population. Because if that's the case, Singapore would not have the most popular passport or the most free passport. The United States would. United States does not have asylum, or there are so many countries around the world that do have limits on immigration. This country allows it's a free for all here. This shit is a laughing stock of the world. We really need to take this very seriously, because if listen, in my neighborhood, y'all know I always talk about the Hispanics all the time in my neighborhood. These people are pulling out with flossy ass cars. And then they get drunk every weekend, jamming them up, and then they come out with new shit. Temp tags, easy. They are literally living rent-free in this country on a temporary visa status at some point, and the hearings are not for 5, 6, 7 years later. By that time, you ran up a bag and you was paying into Social Security. Like, this is a major problem. And people keep saying that they think it's a tactic from Trump. They're saying that they think that he was the one who initiated this, because he said, hey, you guys want immigrants in here? You don't want me to build my wall? Let them come in. So there probably had to be some type of paperwork, some type of bill that was orchestrated behind the scenes that allowed this to happen. So now it looks like it's a democratic problem. So now he's like, hey, you guys said that you can handle an influx of immigration. Let's see if you really can. So now you got the whole border open. You got all these people coming into these sanctuary cities, literally coming through Texas. Texas has the biggest problem of it all. But Texas has the biggest problem because it's the closest. You could literally walk over the border. Do you understand?
And then the governor of Texas, and he put a stop to all that.
Absolutely. So he started shuttling them to the sanctuary cities.
New York, Chicago, Boston. Yeah.
Exactly. So now you got these hotels that have all these people working in there. I just saw something at the Roosevelt. They said that the power went out like 5, 6 times already because everybody trying to use the air fryer. The infrastructure alone is not capable of handling anything in the United States. You got bridges, tunnels, cities, railroads, cars, trucks, roads that have never been repaired in like 50 years since this whole shit really started. They cannot afford this. So Trump technically really needs to be in office so he can fix the problem that he created, because he really reversed a lot of things that we know he did, that the Democratic Party enlisted prior to him getting into office. So this is a really big problem. It goes beyond us, but the biggest problem of it all is, will you continue to be silent? Because that's what they're going to do.
Obasi still on? Obasi, what's up, brother Obasi?
Peace, Obasi. What's good?
Yo, how y'all doing?
I'm fine, brother man. We ain't seen shit in a minute. Good seeing you again, brother man. What's going on? You check out the
All
topic.
right,
What you
man.
think about it, man?
I'm just listening to Queen Cook like always. How y'all doing?
Hey, man, we good in the hood, feeling even better now. We see you back in the spotlight, man. Back on stage, man. You know how they go.
Yeah, I'm getting in where I fit in.
Buried up, man. Good seeing you, brother. Straight up.
Likewise.
Yeah.
So what's the topic?
Migrant crisis. How does it affect us as a people?
I mean, Queen really set the table. But it affects us in a lot of ways. Like, number one, I think like she said, it's only room for one minority, and it's not us, right? So we look at it from a unity factor, right? We look at it like the unity factor. That's where it's gonna hurt us the
Right. Right. And I had just mentioned that a few minutes ago before Queen got on. We have no united we stand, divided we fall.
Do they have issues? Do they infight? Yeah. I did a video today. Now this is what I mean by unity. I did a TikTok video today. I simply asked the question because it's all about the programming. And we have to really figure out what we are as Americans.
Right.
I think your service went out, Obasi. We know your Wi-Fi ghetto. We established that a long time ago.
I do want to ask you guys this though.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel about them pushing us to help the migrants? They pushing it on us. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They
They
asking
pushing
people to take them into their house.
right. They thrust.
they pushing them on us. You know what? How do you guys feel about that?
I don't think it's fair, especially with the rise of inflation, period. You asking people to house literally foreigners with no type of benefit at all. This is just a take type of situation. There are no
Yeah.
benefits. They do not plan to give them any type of stipends, no SNAP, nothing. Nothing.
Can
Just
y'all hear
put them
me?
in your house with your kid.
Yep.
No, sir.
Hear you,
We can
brother.
hear you now, but before we couldn't.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. See,
We know
but
what's going on.
yeah, we definitely do. Queen gave an excellent analysis as to why she said she thinks he needs to be in office. She didn't say she was MAGA, and we hear what we think we hear, or what we think a person is saying. So we find the most low vibrational way, low functioning way to insult a person. Because we are still, like she said, the laziness of thinking that it's all going to be fixed by a push of a button. One sister even commented and said, brother, you have your right and you asked a valid question. But this is about defeating Trump because he's racist, and she named a lot of things that he is. And and as a whole, as a collective, we can't see past our nose when it comes to this because it's all about beating him. So we don't have to hear anything that's for us. We don't have to hear anything that'll benefit us. Everybody's just fixated on beating Trump, and that's going to be their Super Bowl. So we're in the frying pan talking about it's hot. And I think I think it's gonna push us to bring it on home. I think how it's gonna hurt us is gonna make us obsolete. It's gonna make us expendable. So between the immigrants and AI, human labor is gonna be non-existent. So who's the ones that's more fitting to get rid of? Let's get rid of those pesky black ones. I mean, they're always there. We're an eyesore. Let's get rid of them. You know, all they do is kill each other because we live in white people's minds and their stereotypes and what they've created us to be. So that's why I think the immigrant crisis lands us.
Now, Shaka just he said individualism will be our demise.
Right.
Do you guys agree to that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, now you know
our demise right now.
Now you know that when you get to that, we're looking at for us like socially, politically, man, you know, it's crazy. So we're looking at all of this stuff, and it's different groups that it normally falls under, but there's only one group of people that is falling on now or falling under, and that's us. The melanated, well, I don't say what people say, I don't like to say melanated, but a black man, a black woman. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, let's not
what
forget that in 2025 that China has a ton of robots. I forgot how many thousands, but a ton of robots they're humanoid robots. So that's a little bit even more specific, but they're supposed to go online next year. So I think that the plan is to technically bankrupt America. This is just me speaking intuitively. Because truth be told, it's impossible for 5 major cities to continue to support migrants. If there are, let's call it like 400 to 500 hotels in New York City, right? If 20% of those hotels are occupied by migrants, what do you think eventually is going to happen? Either migrants are going to keep going there to seek some type of asylum in these free hotels, or they're going to continue to push us out. Now, you got income requirements, right? Let's think about it for an apartment. You got to have three, it has to be 3 times your rent or something like that, your income, right, on a monthly basis. Whereas I watch inflation rants often. They come from TikTok, but I watch them on YouTube. And people are saying they don't even make enough to even get approved because they don't make 3 times the rent. Their
Nope.
salaries have never increased. The cost of living has increased multiple times, but the salary has not increased at all. So I think that slowly this country will become bankrupt. But I also was invited to watch this Tesla call for Trump. It was a fundraiser, basically. It's called like a fundraiser last week, and they were asking people to donate Bitcoin for an immediate 5% back. And they weren't calling for like point, because you know me, I don't really got like one whole Bitcoin. They were specifically asking for 1 to 10 Bitcoin. And in 10 minutes, you would get like 5% back, which is insane. So they basically want Donald Trump to be the crypto president. So now that
Yes.
means that the currency is also going to flip. So there's multiple layers to this, you know, that we're not really thinking of. So sure, they're about to bankrupt the United States, and the best way to bankrupt a country is to give away all its resources and start a new one.
Now I will say this though. I've been in a couple of investment Zoom meetings, and they are talking about this Trump coin, and not just that, but just the coin, just the Bitcoin itself, and what they're trying to do with it. My thing is this: if I'm not mistaken, I think they have a way to kill the internet. I just don't see the United States letting this blow all the way up, and then they not kill the internet, or some shape or form mess with the internet. And then if you bankrupt the country, you know what's going to happen next is going to be straight war. America, the country itself, is ran by some of the most gangsterous people ever. They're not going to just like, okay, we beat y'all. Here's the keys. Here's the keys to the country. That's not going to happen. They will kill everybody here and everybody in their way so they can possibly stay on top. Or they'll pump so much fear into the community where we will essentially be warring against each other. But I will say this: Queen made a good point about the AI, because I'm actually going to take a couple of courses dealing with that myself. I think it is a wave that we need to get on in, and not be on the back burner of it or the back end of it. Because when you be on the back burner of it, we always get the residue. I think this is the time that we should be in the forefront and get some of the things that get some of the rewards of it. That's what I do believe.
Hey, there's quite a few people on the feed. Let me name a few names. Well, everybody, peace and power to everyone that's listening to us, supporting us, like, comment, and subscribe to the show. You know what I mean? So we have, yeah, I mean, our of course, the brother Shaka, the sister Netta Bees, sister Nisa Sabaz. We also have Cherokee Survival, and the brother Christopher DeWitt, and Cherokee Survival said Vocal Dialect. Was you on the Tactical Turkey show?
No, I wasn't on there, but I did check it out. But I was I think is it Tactical Turkey?
Yeah,
I forgot the name
Cherokee.
of it.
Yeah, Tactical Turkey. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was on it's another that I watched too is dealing with the advancements of your wallet. I was on there, and it was another one someone invited me to, but I don't know the name of that one. But they just pretty much talking about business, the same stuff, you know what I'm saying? Queen be talking about, get into the trades, business, finding our solution because they're not going to give us anything. That's the whole goal. And we have spoke about it several times on this show and also on our Vocal Dialect when we go live on IG. The main thing is for us developing our own system when we're able to maneuver in this particular system, because they're going to do what they have to do. One for sure is chaos. Two for sure is fear. They're going to continue to pump fear until everybody go crazy. Do you know every time they pump fear, as far as like in the news, the on these TV shows, do you know medication goes up? Check it out. A guy was like, when they pump fear, the medication stock goes up. He said, so when you see propaganda, when you see something going on, he said, invest in medication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically, and shout out to my cousin. That's my cousin Yamin that's on there. Shout out to you, cousin.
Okay. Yeah, what's up, brother?
Yeah.
Rob MCN just joined Peace and Black Power, brother. Subscribe to the show, y'all. Like that, but
Queen Goddess had a point there. We already know that America is broke. They've been broke since 1933. There's nothing backing the dollar bill. It's just the ink that's what is printed on. Right. So basically, when you talk about something, and if you do a little bit more research on it, everything in America is just like you said, brother Knowledge, it's commerce. Everything here is up for sale, even the people. And when China was actually asking for the control of the medical charts for the people that was here in America, it was a reason why they was doing that. And another thing is that China controls all of the communication of the United States. That's who bailed us out in the stock market crash. So, as they say, we have the one people that we trying to move out the way, but you have another ones that's trying to come in and take over to be just those people, the ones that's running the country.
So I agree. I agree with that, and I also want to say that I think we are what backs the dollar, right? What we'll do for it, how they're able to control us, is what gives it its power. Because, like you said, it has none.
Mm-hmm.
And I always think about like social engineering. Anybody know hurt me? I always talk about social engineering. I always talk about, and we always hear predictive programming. We always talk about like The Simpsons. So over the weekend, I was watching this movie called Afraid. And this is about AI. And to me, and I was looking at reviews on the internet, and people were looking at this from a human perspective. They were saying, oh, that's not a good movie. Oh, it was so boring. Well, from my perspective, it wasn't about was it a good movie or was it a bad movie. It was about what's to come. And we say this all the time. And in that movie, I don't want to give it away, but in that movie, it shows you how technology is raising and controlling the household. Mm-hmm. So again, I was looking, and I don't know if that was me and Queen talking, because a lot of these conversations run together. And I was looking, it was either Tesla or NVIDIA, and they were creating these robots. And one robot was able to work up to like 72 hours. I think Queen would probably know what I'm talking. It was able to work up to like 72 hours before it began to kind of malfunction. So again, I'm coming back to getting rid of each other. Because population control, I think we kind of forget where they are going. Population control, maintain humanity under a certain amount.
500 million.
So who's the more, again, back to this question, because I think it was somebody in the comment that said, talked about us being unified. And I look at where we're going to be on the ass end of the stick, how we are culturally, because we're forgetting all about the spirit. We're forgetting we're fighting literal devils. So the spirit has been stripped away, because everybody is all about that mighty dollar. Everybody is all about being against each other. So I think also, to the brother Knowledge point, while we're building our cities, we need to build up the black men. We need to build up black women. We need to build up black homes. How are we talking about building these beautiful infrastructures when we are so Europeanized, men are online and we hate women. I'm gonna get me a white woman. I want you to, and I want that white woman to disrupt on you in the bedroom and kill you.
Damn.
I literally want that.
All of that?
Yeah.
Why not? That's what he asked for.
Talked about this before, Obasi. Careful
Right.
with your words.
You know what?
I think y'all kind of missed this energy.
Golly.
Go ahead.
Cut you off, man. I want to say, man, thanks to Cherokee Survival. He just subscribed to the page. Appreciate that support, brother, man. Straight up.
I do want to say something. For us as a people coming from ancient Kemet, we were science. So we were into the cosmology, biology. We was into all of that stuff. Now, one thing I think Obasi just said it. I will say this though. So having all of these electronics in our home is taking the science away from us. One thing we dealt with as a people, we dealt with psychokinesis and telekinesis. And we are losing that because you can be talking to your mother and your mother may call you your brother's name. And we, as old folks, they would say, oh, they must be speaking about us or something must be going on. Let's call them. That's how much that particular veil has thinned. But we used to be able to talk to each other literally through the mental aspect. Now we got cell phones. We used to be able, not like they doing. Now you go to YouTube, they do all these little sign projects, these little DIY projects. We used to do that stuff all the time. Now we're getting away from it. You get what I'm saying? So
because it technology.
Yeah, because it's handicapping us. Is handicapping the original man. It has the woman discombobulated. The men are very emotional. I never seen so many men emotional. It's crazy. The men are so emotional. I mean, when I grew up, we grew up grit and tough. We fought. These men are very emotional.
Call them the estrogen men.
Man, they be tripping.
But we grew up in a different time of masculinity.
And I'm gonna tell you something too. You can tell the level of a people how they treat the women. You can tell the level of a people how they treat the women. This is true.
Mm-hmm.
The European woman get put on a pedestal, and her DNA is trash.
Right.
I'm point blank. I'm just telling you the truth. Get put on a DNA is trash. So now she's in the gym. She's walking every day. You know, wearing tight leggings, and then somebody look at her, then the police, the dogs, they come out and want to prosecute you as if you're doing something. But to me, it's trash. The most powerful woman, and every race can come out of that woman, is the black woman.
That's right. Acknowledge.
Yeah.
A couple comments, man. A lot of people in the comments make, man. Could you respond to a couple of them?
All right, we got Shaka. We got Brother Shaka said we cannot succeed unless we have hold on. Shaka said we cannot succeed without an economic structure. Rob M said we are getting to succeed and to win the youth are waking up. But that doesn't mean we don't have extremely amount of work to do and accomplish the black youth first. Program and education. That is true. He also said black power, black dollars, black economic, black families, black generation. And the telekinesis, the ability to move objects, change shape, salute black power. Mary Green said you build by starting with the youth, start with the school system that is passing students because they're too old to be in the class anymore. Start with your educators who neglect the children.
Absolutely. Chris. I want to pause on that for if you can. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I had went to a mixer last Wednesday here in Baltimore, and it was literally about that. It was about the youth, and it was a bunch of educators in the city who work at Baltimore Public City Schools, and what they're trying to do or implement. And because a stat just came out where it said like only 3% to 7% of students that were, I believe, trying to pass that high school level exam were proficient in whatever it was that they were being tested in. I believe it was mathematics, which is a terrible number. Let's be honest. 3 to 7% is terrible. So the question is, how are kids literally passing middle school to go into high school with little to no guidance? Because a lot of children, let's be frank, don't have parents in this area where I'm in. There are so many kids that lost their families to addictions. You know, we grew up in the 80s crack era. You know, there's so many people have lost their family to incarceration or murder, homicides. You know, this list goes on and on. So when you think about us as a people, it really does have to be more of us acting and executing from an act of love and no longer a place of hate, because it seems like we're the only people who kill each other when we're the most powerful beings on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we are
Not
trained
the
to
only
kill
people
each
that
other.
kill each other.
We are trained.
They
We have
show
been
it the
taught to
most.
Really?
kill each other.
Yeah, they just
Mhm.
show
We
the
don't.
most.
We the only ones that they.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Yeah, they
They lying
perpetuate.
to us.
What you were saying, Joe?
I said they perpetuate that. That's what the news media is there for, to make us. They always denigrate now people, but you have people killing in every ethnic group you can think of. But it's
Yep.
just,
Mm-hmm.
it seems so surmountable because they show us every day on TV. I don't even watch the news, none of the broadcasting, because I don't want to keep reminding of seeing my people in the street that they showing up. They don't show anything positive about us.
Now,
I've
one
never
thing,
known, anytime, to be frank, anytime that I've ever heard of someone being murdered in the hood, it's always been at the hand of someone who looks like them.
Exactly.
And this is my experience. I don't know white people to murder white people. In my circle and world, I don't know that. So that, you know, saddens me. But you also have to remember, and the thing always goes back to the same thing. The fact is, we're not in control of our emotions. There isn't any true guidance on how to manage emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Because you taking somebody's life in an instance because they maybe scuffed your sneaker or bumped into you, there's some type of street beef or street cut, whatever it is that you're about to literally take someone's life for, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. We need to learn how to manage our emotions better. I think that's really what the school needs to be about. You know, I think schools, I had proposed, you know, in some private conversations, I really can't get into the details just because we're working on things, but I had proposed in private conversations that the educational system needs to be wiped. There has to really be a successorship program for all judicial systems, for all education, board of eds, different agencies, this, that. If we have retirement age people that are running these institutions, it's time to get the fuck on. Okay. I think Spain or Portugal have a leader that's like in his 40s. We need some of that fresh energy. This country clearly is not running the way it's supposed to be. You don't think that these people, karma is about to eat them alive because they've literally put a veil over our eyes for so many years?
Right.
Literally, you don't think that you're going to really receive some type of backlash because you are literally affecting the natural ebbs and flows of the melanated man, the melanated woman? If we are the most powerful beings as nine ether beings on this planet, you're affecting our evolution. This sky behind me was probably the last non-GMO sky I had seen in a long time, and this was 2019, 2020. So now think about all the stuff that they've polluted the air with that may have prohibited us from excelling and growing and using spiritual gifts. We all have them. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be so far as beings on this planet, but because they've consistently manipulated the natural ebbs and flows, just like they're consistently telling us we're not in a recession, and we've been in a recession for almost a year. It's just so many layers to this, and we completely got off topic about the migrants, but you know, with all due respect to them, it's not about them. It's literally about us and how they're literally trying to remove us as a people.
Right.
Everybody has to
Yeah.
wake up. Everybody
Yeah.
has to
I
wake up.
think can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
I think they gave crime ethnicity and a race, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you think, like Queen said, when you think of like just straight up drive-bys, street murders, you think of us.
Right.
When you think of plane crashes, Unabomers, who we think of? We think of Arabs. When you think of America, white people killing. I just had this conversation with a white boy on my post. I said, well, when y'all murder in mass numbers, it's called war.
Yeah.
It's called history.
Mm-hmm.
It's called patriotism. See, like the great Amos Wilson would say, how do we let the criminals define criminality? What exactly is blue collar crime? What exactly is white collar crime?
Mm-hmm.
Because racism is the power to define. So if I can define you as a criminal, if I can define you as a nigger, if I can get you to accept that through the next Diddy Bop, through Young Thug, through whoever else we love to listen to, how did we get these images? I remember listening to Saika Shakur, Monster Cody. If nobody read that book, read that book. And that book right there is next to the autobiography of Malcolm X. And I think it's page 69. I don't have the book near me, but I'm pretty sure I would bet money that is that page. And he talked about how crime swept in from when they went from fist fights, maybe even having a knife. So he said guns were on the corner and something took a hold of us and we were killing each other in numbers and we didn't know how. Mm-hmm. I had to also discuss what happened when crack came into it. Because as I tell these white folks when they get under my comments, I said, okay, we're so savage and y'all clutch our purse we need to clutch our stuff when we see them. Mm-hmm. So if y'all clutch our purse when y'all see us, how will we ever capture? How did the Jim Crow laws be against us? I mean, if we're just so terrible. If you know, and it's crazy because all of that stripped us of our spirit. And so now through the information, because I feel like they gave us an influx of information, because this is the age of information, right? Mm-hmm. So they said, let's just give it all to them. Now we have an identity crisis on top of the identity crisis we've already had. Mm-hmm. Now we're Moors. Now we're foundational Black Americans. So I respect to everybody in their own thing, but I always come back and say what we are is confused. Confusion on the battlefield is what Steve Coakley would call it. So we've forgotten what does the enemy look like? The enemy looks like us, and the white boy looks like the hero. They can't be the hero and the villain at the same time. But the way they push us psychologically, they make us think Superman is the hero and the Joker is the enemy when they're all the same. When we study crime, I get into this. I said when we study crime and we study kill styles, okay, when they were the psychopaths that would stab somebody 40, 50, 60, 70 times. We never did that. The way you study a people, the way you study a culture, the way you study the people eat, the way you study the people, the things they eat. That's why I like looking at stuff like Wife Swap. It looks like a corny show.
I like that show.
But it takes you inside the houses of these people.
Yeah.
You see these people always say, oh, what's a washcloth? What do you mean, what's a washcloth?
Child, I use an African rag now, but child.
You see? So I think to bring it back to what Queen is saying and to what everybody else is saying, it's what we're missing. We're missing the components that made us. That unity, that love. We don't have that no more. Mm-hmm. We don't have that no more because remember we would always talk about, well, back in my day, the neighbors would chastise you. They stripped that.
Mm-hmm. They stripped us from us with crack.
They stripped it. So now there's no hold of the children. And I said, okay, because I teach my children. So I said, okay, I agree that we need to do away with we need to do away with the educational program because they're not teaching them anything anyway. Right. So you just push them along. They're not learning anything. They're sitting on the phone, on cell phones. They're not learning anything. But they're just like there.
I think Idaho banned it. Sorry, recently.
No, go ahead.
I think Idaho or Iowa, they just recently banned kids using cell phones in school. Like it's
Yep.
happening in a couple of cities now.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
people getting on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think,
You have
and I
you
think
have the you have the iPhone what they call that? iPhone tantrum, when a tantrum, when a kid has a tantrum.
Oh, chat. Yeah, those are
Yeah,
bad.
the iPad when a kid, when you take that device from them, they
Yeah.
go crazy. And now, since the little kids now always like this, in the back of their neck, they started to develop another bone. So
So let me ask a question. How can we what can we do to stop us, the people, to stop the migrant crisis, or slow it down or whatever? What can we do? Because I don't know the answer to that.
I'm gonna tell you this. I've been on a lot of calls, a lot of Zooms. People asking me to speak, but I'm not doing all that right now. I've really been like soaking up the information. We have to get into the finances. We're losing on all the other scope spectrums. Unity, we're losing on that. Culturally, we're losing on that. Like Obasi said, we Moors, we this, we that, we this. We losing economically. So the best way is to move in. What Queen was speaking about is doing the AI. Not just that, we need to learn how to build wealth and then come together collectively. A lot of people when Brother Gerald mentioned 1933 about the American
Gold
dollar.
standard.
Yeah, the gold standard. That's HJR 192-73-10 public law. That's when they took the gold and silver away from the American people and gave them the fake dollar bill. That was terrible. We need to get back so we can have a means of us doing business with each other. And when I said that law because the only law that I gave is before trust law. We have to get into the trust. We have to utilize the trust. What is it good for? How can we put our assets in it? Because trust law is before United States law. I think that is one solution. I think there are many more solutions, but we have to find a way to make sure that we are unified together. But at first, I hate to say this, we have to start kind of in small groups because if we come together on a collective scale, they're going to try to affect the commerce that we are putting into play. So we come together in small business groups, small investments groups. I think we will be fine. We can possibly make some good of it. But right now, the migrants are here, Hispanics are here, they're kicking it. She's not lying, they're kicking it. I got one just moved across the street from me. I kid you not. I was shocked. You hear the music all night long, they barbecuing corn, walk around barefooted. And I will say this, when they get up in the morning, they go to work, the whole house leave. It don't be not one car over there.
Yep.
But at that time, it's about like 6, 7, 8 cars over there. So
I got it all around me. It's real.
I'm just saying.
5 more minutes on the show.
We have to put this together.
Can we do like closing remarks, everybody?
Yeah, everybody.
I have some stuff I want to say.
I was just gonna say.
I'm not gonna be long. I'm gonna give my I'm gonna come back to what I said. I understand the dollar. I understand economics. But what we need more importantly is love and understanding. We building a house backwards because let's just say we all get it together economically. Let's say we all get it together. If we have piss poor fathers in the neighborhood, if we have niggas running around talking about we're high value men and you're low value, what is the money worth?
Oh, God,
the input and the output. So the young boys are taking on this social learning theory, social learning behavior. We're learning from broken people. We need to heal. We need money, but we need to heal. That's why we're able to talk about these other cultures because nobody is as broken in the fragments as us. That's why they're able to get up and go to work because they don't face what we face. We have to understand exactly and understand exactly what it is that we're facing as Black people. We don't face what the rest of the world face. Our women don't face what Mexican women face. Our women don't face what white women face. We don't face what white boys face. We all felt that brother yesterday, whether we knew him or not. I said every time I would see his picture, I could see me. That was my reflection. So we need love. We need to understand that our women need protection. Women need to understand that we need love, and we don't always have to pay for it. Love on each other, because if we don't have currency, they can take that away.
Yeah.
It's not our money. It's not our hate. It is our love that these people are afraid of. So that's my twist. I'm gonna land the plane and say we gotta love on each other. We gotta love on those babies.
It's called Black love for a reason.
I think we gotta be reprogrammed, man.
Okay. All right. Brother Gerald?
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback off of Bossy. Bossy, that was a good point there. We've been covering that for the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks since you've been gone, about how we have to unify each other as a community. Else our environment is going to be catastrophic. And we already know we're heading into that direction. Because as you said, now, what the globalists and what the government is trying to do is they trying to make it so that here in America, the corporation, they saying we to own nothing and be happy. So how is it we going to build an infrastructure amongst our people when currency is going to be taken away and we're going to be dealing on credit?
Yeah.
How do we go about that?
All right. Queen?
I just wanted to give the people 5 AI tools that Van Jones had mentioned when I was at InvestFest, and they were Chat GPT, Midjourney, Runway, Juno, and Gamma. And one thing that he also said, and maybe it wasn't him, it was just someone on the panel, but he said you really need to be on or connected to the forecomers of power. And he said DC for government and politics, New York for financial, LA for entertainment, and Silicon Valley for tech. So when you're creating these AI tools, or if that's how you choose to get your reparations, consider one of those 4 branches that you should probably go into, so that you always know that the most funding, the most interest, things of that nature will always be on those 4 main cities, which is, again, DC for government and politics, New York City for financial, LA for entertainment, and Silicon Valley for tech. And I just want to say, while we understand that we do have a migrant crisis on our hands, I'm very adamant about us getting involved with investing and us pouring into ourselves and loving ourselves, because you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself, which is probably the greatest issue with our community, where each of us have some type of void or some type of PTSD that's diagnosed, undiagnosed from our childhood, that is now, reflecting it as adults. So it's really important for us to pour into ourselves. And that's why I say our community needs cell healing the most. And when we think about cell healing, I automatically think about Dr. Sebi and the alkaline diet, because it is a cell rejuvenation. But just as our cells rejuvenate every 7 years, we really have to reprogram our minds to do the same exact thing.
You do. All right, energy, peace.
Yes, hey. We just gotta get together and outthink them. We're very intelligent. We're gonna get together and do that. And I just want to say thank y'all for the knowledge. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all.
So
right,
everybody out there, YouTube that's looking at us, man, we appreciate y'all support. We love y'all. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. As well as you can check Vokal Dialect on IG, Vokal with a K. Check us out on Facebook and TikTok as well. And we'll be on next Monday live. Wednesday live. Change it right, Queen. Next Wednesday live on YouTube.
I mean, it was just, I was talking to my friend one night and he just was so excited about football season. And I'm
Yeah,
like, this is
you
not
made a
really a
good point
good
though.
day.
You was right. You right. We'll change to Wendy's on you, so you was right. Because I ain't even think about it. You
It's
right.
true. And tonight we
Yeah, we
had,
had
you
the
know, at
most
least
people we
20
ever had
people
on the live
online.
as well. We had the most.
Exactly.
I'm checking it out. We had the
I got
most people tonight that we ever had on the live as well. That's
exactly. I
why we
saw it to
appreciate y'all for
22.
real. Yeah, got up to
Yes,
like
what's
25.
up?
Yeah.
All right, family. Vocal Dialect. We thank y'all for tuning in. Man, we see y'all next time. Peace.
Hey, brother Boxy boy, you missed you, boy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here,
Yeah,
boy.
I told
My love,
Obasi to get his
yo.
black ass back on the show. So here he is.
You think I ain't been sweating him, man? Man, what's up, dude? What's up, brother, man? What these over here?